Greetings, Telegrams. Welcome back to Disenthrall. I will be Patrick Smith. Today, I'm going to read an article written by someone who I consider a friend named Jeff Phillips, who has pieced together a lot of information from different sources on the status of the Telegram app. So the last episode we did was on Signal. If you missed that one, go check it out. This one is going to be on Telegram. I was going to do one on WhatsApp, but I can't imagine any of you trust Facebook already, so I'm not sure if it's worth it, but if it is, let me know in the comments, and I'll do one on WhatsApp as well. Suffice it to say, don't use WhatsApp. It's probably the worst of the options. But Telegram and Signal are the two most popular messaging apps amongst liberty lovers around the world. And we did Signal. Now we're going to do Telegram, thanks to this article from Jeff, titled, Telegram and Russia's FSB, An Uncomfortable Relationship. You guys need to listen up. If you are watching my channel, you're probably a Telegram user. You may even be in the Telegram Disenthrall Anarchast group. You need to pay attention. Sit up in your chair and listen. You might want to consider getting the hell off Telegram. I will try and provide you an alternative, maybe at the end of this video, or maybe that's the next video. That's what we'll do. All right, so let's do this. Jeff Phillips, working for Code Siren LLC. More information on that, maybe in the next video. We've got some exciting stuff to talk about there. All right, so let's get into it. Telegram is the world's fourth largest instant messaging and voice over IP app, after WhatsApp, WeChat, and Facebook Messenger, with well over 1.068 billion users. The app grows by 1.5 million users daily and boasts 700 million monthly active users, with approximately 196 million daily active users. Insane numbers. Some have called Telegram the world's most important app, and Telegram touts itself as a, quote, privacy-oriented platform. Nevertheless, in this Code Siren LLC article, we will demonstrate that a Faustian bargain ostensibly compromises Telegram with Russia's Federal Security Service, the FSB, and your private encryption keys are now accessible by the Kremlin. All right, side note from myself, anything Russian that I read in this article will be pronounced in an official and accurate Texas accent. Okay, got that out of the way. All right. Background. Pavel Durov and his younger brother Nikolai were born in St. Petersburg, Russia, at the time known as Leningrad, USSR. Both brothers are extremely intelligent, both talented programmers and entrepreneurs. Nikolai's mathematical achievements earned him gold for 3 years at the International Mathematical Olympiad. Pavel and his brother attended St. Petersburg State University, where Pavel successfully mastered linguistics and propaganda, and where Nikolai studied mathematics and computer science before earning his first PhD in Arakelov geometry. Nikolai earned a second PhD from the University of Bonn. In 2002, Pavel Durov created a website called Durov.com, a collection of student essays and other academic work. The website quickly became well-liked among his university colleagues. In 2004, Pavel Durov created another website called spbgu.ru, a social networking site for St. Petersburg State University students. The website was very popular and had over 100,000 users by 2006. I'm going to call it VKontakte, the VKontakte era. In 2006, Pavel and Nikolai Durov founded VKontakte, VK, a social networking site in Russia. Within 3 years, VKontakte quickly became Russia's most popular social networking site, with over 140 million users by 2012. VK went on to become the most frequented communication platform in Russia. At the height of their VK success, the Durov brothers offered Edward Snowden a job in St. Petersburg. However, the rising popularity of VK gained the attention of Vladimir Putin and the Kremlin. Putin saw VK as a potential threat to his control of information and public opinion in Russia. The Russian government began to pressure VK, objecting to comments and demanding censorship of the forums. In 2013, Pavel Durov began an escalating clash with the Kremlin. After ignoring various government demands, on April 5th, the FSB sent a team of 20 officers to raid VK's headquarters. The heavy-handed treatment involved investigating a supposed hit-and-run traffic incident involving Durov's Mercedes and a St. Petersburg policeman. The incident was seen by many as an attempt by the Kremlin to intimidate and silence Pavel. Shortly after this incident, a hostile takeover of VK ensued by Putin-backed businessman Ilya Sherbovich. Doing pretty good. During the takeover and amidst allegations of a larger campaign against the Durov brothers, Nikolai and Pavel went into hiding. So early on, years ago, when I was first getting interested in Telegram, it was these stories, these reports of them resisting government demands for intrusion into people's privacy that garnered trust from me and a lot of people in Telegram. If these people are willing to resist government's control and spying, then that's somebody that we can trust more than everyone else, let's say like Facebook. In April 2014, stating that the government had taken over VK after receiving a significant pressure from the Kremlin, the Durov brothers sold their remaining stake in VK and left Russia. In December 2014, Gazprom acquired a majority stake in VK to, quote, boost the Kremlin's control over the social network. According to SimilarWeb, VK.com is now the 20th most visited website globally and Russia's 4th most visited website. Telegram was first launched for iOS on August 14, 2013, and Android on October 20th. The company was founded as Telegram Messenger Incorporated and continues to operate under this name. Ironically, the idea for Telegram was inspired by an FSB SWAT team showing up at the Durov's flat in St. Petersburg in 2013, and Pavel had no way to contact his brother during the siege. Telegram is globally accessible with a freemium cloud-based and centralized business model. Telegram is a cloud-based instant messaging service known for its speed, features, and relaxed security. The app bills itself as end-to-end encryption, but only messages utilizing the secret chats function are encrypted. And I'm going to read that last part again. Telegram is not an encrypted messaging app unless you do a specific set of steps. And it doesn't work for groups. You can open a different type of chat manually. It's not automatic. So like if you just pick somebody from your contact list in Telegram and you start DMing them back and forth one-on-one, that is not end-to-end encrypted. You have to go in, I think, into the menu, and you have to go into the contact, go into their menu, and then there's like an option to open like a secret chat with a person. And that secret chat shows up separately in the list from the normal chats. If you're not doing that, you're not using the end-to-end encryption in Telegram. And no group that you're in has it. This is all clear text to them. And we already knew that going in, folks. Just needed to repeat that for the people in the back that aren't paying attention. Telegram maintains 7 client app releases for smartphones, tablets, computers, and web browsers. One of the key features of Telegram is its support for end-to-end encryption, but this only applies to, quote, secret chats. For secret chats, Telegram uses the MT Proto 2.0 encryption protocol based on the Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm and the AES 256 encryption algorithm. This encryption scheme is not considered a post-quantum safe architecture. Okay, so this is new stuff coming down the pipe that everyone needs to be aware of. Quantum computing is being developed at an accelerating rate. We just had an article, a press release by IBM stating that they had crossed the 1,000 qubit threshold, which is just to say that they have now released a computer, a quantum computer with, I think, 1,100 some odd qubits. This is a big advancement. They are moving forward. Quantum computing will be able to defeat much of the cryptography that almost all of the messaging apps that you currently use. Pay attention. Heads up. It is rumored that all Telegram messages are stored in plain text on their servers, excluding those secret chats that we talked about. A series of tweets from Moxie Marlinspike, the co-founder of competitor Signal, has raised many concerns about Telegram's lack of security. Starting on December 23rd, 2021, Marlinspike posted, quote, "It's amazing to me that after all this time, almost all media coverage of Telegram still refers to it as an encrypted messenger. Telegram has a lot of compelling features, but in terms of privacy and data collection, there is no worse choice." End quote. Moxie later tweeted, quote, "Telegram stores all your contacts, groups, media, and every message you've ever sent or received in plain text on their servers. The app on your phone is just a view onto their servers where the data actually lives. Almost everything you see in the app, Telegram also sees." On February 24, 2022, Marlinspike continued his previous posts with, quote, "Telegram is the most popular messenger in urban Ukraine. After a decade of misleading marketing and press, most people there believe it's an encrypted app. The reality is the opposite. Telegram is by default a cloud database with a plain text copy of every message everyone has ever sent and received." End quote. The Russian Federal Service for Supervision of Communications, sorry, Texas accent, Roskomnadzor, excuse me, we'll call it RKN, okay? Is the Russian federal executive agency responsible for monitoring, controlling, and censoring Russian mass media. RKN versus Telegram was a landmark court case in 2018 between the Russian government and the messaging app. The litigation centered on the Russian intelligence agency, FSB's 2017 demand that Telegram hand over its private encryption keys. This access would have allowed the FSB to decrypt users' messages and monitor their communications. Telegram refused to comply, arguing that doing so would violate user privacy and was technically impossible due to Telegram's encryption architecture. The case primarily revolved around Article 10.1 of their federal law, often called the Law on Information Technologies and Information Protection. The law passed in 2016. These laws and subsequent amendments grant authorities the legal basis to access encryption keys. The case was widely seen as a test of the Russian government's commitment to online freedom of expression. Right. On April 13, 2018, District Court ruled in favor of Roskomnadzor, RKN, and ordered Telegram to be blocked in Russia. Telegram appealed the decision, but the Supreme Court of Russia upheld the block on June 20, 2018, leading to nationwide restrictions on Telegram's services. Despite the court order, Telegram remained accessible in Russia until May, when RNK, whatever it was, began to block the app's IP addresses. Nevertheless, on June 22, 2020, RKN suddenly announced it had reached an agreement with Pavel Durov and unblocked Telegram's IP addresses after the decision was taken in light of readiness voiced by Pavel Durov to cooperate. Okay, so I kind of rambled the lead in there as if it was normal, but let me highlight that. On June 2022, after having won the case again on appeal, blocked their IP addresses, the government suddenly announced that it had reached an agreement with Pavel and unblocked Telegram after, quote, the decision was taken in light of the readiness voiced by Pavel Durov to cooperate. Are you seeing what's happening? In January 2018, Telegram attempted to raise 1.2 billion ICO. The US-focused financing was to raise capital for its blockchain and payment blockchain project, the Telegram Open Network, TON. In 2020, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission sued Telegram, as they do. I swear the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission is the enemy of freedom, liberty, technology, and life. They sue everyone doing anything productive in crypto. I mean, they straight up killed Library, the tech backing Odyssey, the best place to post your video content without fear of censorship. They are the enemy of free association online. They are the enemy of freedom in currency and finance. Rant over. That's for another video. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission sued Telegram over a massive initial coin offering. As a result of the lawsuit, Telegram agreed to return more than $1.2 billion to investors and pay an $18.5 million civil penalty. That's huge. They basically had to give all of their investment back, or a large portion of it. The return of $1.2 billion required rapid financing and at least a $1 billion minimum raise. VTB Capital, the investment banking arm of, you guessed it, Russia's second largest bank, stepped up to represent Telegram in the capital markets. VTB, the state-controlled institution, was the lead arranger in the bond offering, providing Telegram with the necessary investors in their order book to refund ton investors. Russia's Direct Investment Fund, RDIF, participated in the transaction. VTB, arguably controlled by the Kremlin, provided an astronomical $124 billion pre-money valuation constructed on a highly speculative approach using enterprise value / daily active users. So they had it. So a Russian linked entity put a value of $124 billion so that they could justify this investment to buy into Telegram. Mubadala, a UAE sovereign wealth fund, and their sub-fund, Abu Dhabi Catalyst Partners, purchased $150 million in bonds on March 23, 2021. Putin's allies and oligarchs, Roman Abramovich and former Russian government member Mikhail Abizov, also provided capital. The next day, on March 24, 2021, Mubadala announced it Texas announced it purchased a portion of the bonds on behalf of the RDIF. 3 months after the close of financing, Mr. Putin proudly announced on Russian One Television's Direct Line, an annual marathon Q&A call-in show, quote, "We reached an agreement with Telegram. It is operational and everything is fine." This comment was largely interpreted as a signal that Vladimir Putin and Pavel Durov had come to terms. What do you think coming to terms means? What do you think when the government goes from suing them again, banning them, to being totally fine? Vladimir Putin, everything is operational and everything is fine. We know what happened. It's unhealthy to criticize President Vladimir Putin and the Kremlin. It has become quite unwise to criticize President Vladimir Putin in recent years. The Russian government has cracked down on dissent and criticizing the government, including Putin, and the Kremlin can have criticizing the government, including Putin and the Kremlin, can have serious consequences. Since 2000, there's been a series of mysterious deaths amongst the Russian elite, journalists, dissidents, and vocal critics, which some experts believe could be linked to President Putin. Since the launch of Russia's war in Ukraine, 39 high-profile figures have died under suspicious circumstances. These include sudden suicides and falls from windows. According to the Committee to Protect Journalists, 43 journalists and media workers have been killed in Russia since Vladimir Putin came to power in 2000. Of those, 15 were murdered in direct retaliation for their work. The CPJ also reports that 26 dissidents have been killed in Russia during the same period. However, it's difficult to say definitively how many of these deaths were directly related to their political activities. Many of these deaths are ruled as suicide and quickly brushed over by the Russian authorities. In 2022, Russia passed a law that makes it illegal to spread fake news about the Russian military, which can include criticizing the war in Ukraine. This law has been used to arrest and imprison journalists and activists. The Russian government has also used other laws to suppress dissent, such as laws against extremism and hate speech. These laws have been used to target people who criticize the government, even if their criticism is peaceful. The Kremlin has entered the chat. In June 2022, NATO warned about the security of the messaging app Telegram. NATO expressed concerns that Russia could use Telegram to spread disinformation and propaganda, and that the app could be vulnerable to hacking. Janice Sartz, the director of NATO's Strategic Communications Center of Excellence. Okay, hold on. If you have to put excellence in the name of your organization, maybe you're probably worried about not being excellent. Kind of lame. Director of NATO's Strategic Communications Center of Excellence said, NATO is aware of the potential risks associated with the use of Telegram. Mr. Sartz also said, quote, I do have reasons to believe that there is not full integrity. Certainly I would not see Telegram as a secure platform. And later stated, quote, I don't think it's fully safe. And, quote, NATO members should take appropriate steps to protect their classified information and communications. According to Wired's April 27, 2023 article entitled, quote, The Kremlin has entered your Telegram chat, there have been many incidents where FSB officers have had access to users' chats. Quote, over the past year, numerous dissidents across Russia have found their Telegram accounts seemingly monitored and compromised. Hundreds have had their Telegram activity wielded against them in criminal cases. Perhaps most disturbingly, bears pointing out, Signal has had very few uses in court against people. There was one where Signal was on an iPhone, and the FBI had physical access to the iPhone, and they found a flaw that allowed them to... It's complicated, I won't get into it, but it's limited, as opposed to Telegram, numerous. Perhaps most disturbingly, some activists have found their secret chats, Telegram's purportedly ironclad end-to-end encrypted feature, behaving strangely in ways that suggest an unwelcome third party might be eavesdropping. These cases have set off a swirl of conspiracy theories, paranoia, and speculation among dissidents whose trust in Telegram has plummeted. In many cases, it's impossible to tell what's really happening to people's accounts, whether spyware or Kremlin informants have been used to break in, through no particular fault of the company. Whether Telegram is really cooperating with Moscow or whether it's such an inherently unsafe platform that the latter is merely what appears to be going on, end quote. That was from the Wired article. One of the main concerns is that Telegram cooperates with the FSB. In 2018, Telegram was banned in Russia for refusing to hand over its encryption keys. The ban was lifted in 2020 after Telegram agreed to, quote, help with extremism investigations. However, it's unclear what this cooperation entails, and there is concern that the FSB may have access to Telegram user data. Another concern is that Telegram has servers in Russia. This complication implies that Russian authorities could seize or hack these servers and gain access to user data. In addition to these concerns, Telegram has become the main source of information for over 50% of Ukraine's populations. This uneasiness is even though Telegram is closely linked to Russia, and there is high probability that Russian special services have access to user correspondence. In July 2023, the head of Ukrainian intelligence, Kyrylo Budanov, claimed Russian FSB has the encryption keys to Telegram and Viber messaging apps and is using them for espionage. Mr. Budanov is quoted as saying, quote, the FSB, and only them, have the keys to Telegram, and it is an application created for espionage. It doesn't get much more clear than that, folks. Conclusion. The Kremlin had repeatedly tried to shut down Telegram before 2020. Durov had resisted these efforts for several years. Still, in June 2020, he reached a settlement with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission that required him to return $1.2 billion to investors and pay 18.5 penalty. The settlement was likely the last straw for Durov, facing financial ruin. Durov may have made a deal with the Kremlin and the FSB to survive. This hypothesis would have required him to give the FSB access to Telegram's encryption keys, allowing them to monitor users' communications. The timing of Telegram's preliminary injunction in the Southern District of New York in March 2020 and the June 2020 SEC settlement also suggests that Durov may have made a deal with the Kremlin after exhausting all other options. The preliminary injunction prevented the SEC from shutting down Telegram, giving Durov time to negotiate a settlement with the SEC. Given the severity of the SEC's allegations against Durov, the settlement was relatively lenient. It is extremely unlikely that Durov's first choice was to accept money from Kremlin-linked investors. However, he may have felt he had no choice but to save Telegram. In conclusion, Pavel Durov likely made a Faustian bargain with the FSB to survive and preserve Telegram. Users in countries friendly with Russia, such as Iran, China, India, Belarus. Oh, what is this? Kyrgyzstan and oh man. These people should be very careful when using Telegram. If you are politically active or critical of your home country, it is possible that your user data is being shared with your government. Users and stakeholders must stay informed about these issues and take necessary precautions. In the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Telegram faces new challenges, such as increased scrutiny from Western governments and the potential for the platform to be used to spread Russian propaganda. However, Telegram also has the potential to be used as a platform for democratic activism in authoritarian countries, but users should be concerned with the lack of encryption. It remains to be seen how Telegram will navigate these challenges. And then he's just got all the footnotes in the world if you need any proof. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to have a lot of respect for the Durov brothers because there were some other stories that I heard about times when they were at conferences where the FBI knocked on their door and sums of money were offered to developers to provide backdoors to the U.S. government, and these attempts were supposedly restricted. I wanted this to be a success story, but it's never implemented encryption by default. It's now very Russian linked in my mind. I don't think it's even a question at this point if it's been compromised. Ladies and gentlemen, liberty-loving folk, Telegram should be dead to you. It should be as dead to you as WhatsApp. Now, what does this mean for the Disenthrall Anarchast group? Probably going to wind that down. We're probably going to move that to an alternative for groups that doesn't depend on Russian-linked, centrally hosted, unencrypted communication. We'll probably actually leave the group open just like we have left our Discord group open for people, for the normies that wander in, so that we can then direct them on to the actually private places where we can talk about the things we enjoy talking about. What is that? Well, we'll probably do another video on it, but long story short, it's a new app. It's the first in the world. Hear me? It's the first in the world to use post-quantum cryptography. It is intended to be a complete replacement for things like Discord, for Telegram, for Slack, Microsoft Teams, all these collaboration apps, all these communication apps. This app is self-hostable, meaning it's not centralized. It uses post-quantum cryptography or quantum-resistant cryptography, so that even these new quantum computers with thousands of qubits that are going to come out very soon won't be able to touch it. More on that, I'll just do a separate video where I'll walk you through our Polynom server that we have running for Disenthrall and Anarchast. Invite all of you guys to join us there. This can be a complete replacement for anything you use Telegram for at this point. All of your groups. If you're a liberty-loving group, suggest that your admins of all the communities that you're in get off Telegram, get off Discord. It's got its own problems that deserve its own episode, and go check out Polynom. Polynom.app is the website where you can download the client and the server. You can host it yourself. And look, folks, not everybody is tech savvy, and a lot of the Liberty groups don't have time to mess with that. And because I believe in this tech so much, and it's this weird thing, it's this weird thing, like it in people's eyes, when I tell them I created a hosting company for the express purpose of hosting these Polynom servers for people, they're like, oh, the only reason you're talking about Polynom is because you're trying to make money on your hosting company. No. I made the hosting company because I love and believe in, and I'm excited about Polynom, and I want to facilitate bringing that to more people that can't host their own servers in a secure, private way. So that's what we're doing. My company's name is Zero Eyes Hosting. So zeroeyes.host is the website. If you have the technical expertise, host your own server. Fine, I love you. Do it. Get private. I'm kind of ruining the next episode, but we'll do a full walkthrough of what it looks like in that show. But if you're not tech savvy, and don't let that be an excuse, go to zeroeyes.host. I will create and host for you a private, bespoke Polynom server for all of your Liberty communities. This is what we need. We need to get the word out. We need to get people off all this other ancient crypto tech that is about to be compromised. We need to get them off of these services that are linked to the Russian government. We have a solution for these communities. It's way better than Matrix. It's way better to host as an admin. It's better to use. The client is way more pretty on Polynom than Matrix. Matrix is I don't want to turn this into a bad chat about Matrix, so I won't. There's a lot of downsides to Matrix. It's definitely not the end goal, but thankfully we have Polynom now. So go check that out. Polynom.app for the to host it yourself or to download the client. I think all of the clients are out now except for iOS, which is coming very shortly. If you need hosting, zeroeyes.host is my new company. We just launched it, and I think you'll like the names of the server hosting plans that we have. You may recognize some of them. Go check that out. All right, guys, stop using Telegram. Let's protect our communications. Take it easy.